Guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, painful_purpose, and thank you for joining me again for the next part of my vlog series. And thank you so much to everyone who watched the previous vlog, which was actually a testimony vlog from Olivia. And if you haven't watched that already, you can watch that one, which I will link to this video. And for those of you that are joining for the first time, welcome. And just to get to know a bit about me, I'm going to also link my introductory video, so you can watch that before you watch this one. But yes, this one is not another testimony, but it's my own testimony. So it's continuing on from the vlog before Olivia's testimony. And once again, if you haven't watched that one, I'm going to link it so that you can find out where this one is going to continue from. So I hope you guys are ready for the next part. And now this is my story. So after I'd been baptised, so I got baptised at the beginning of September, and then I think a few weeks after that I'd started my second year of university. So everything was going well. I even got, because I was on crutches, usually you start to do lab work by yourself, but because I was on crutches I couldn't. So I had my friend as my lab partner, which was amazing. So I didn't feel like we both didn't feel like we had to do everything by ourselves, which was absolutely amazing. So it has its benefits. And then also my January exams, I did those, and praise be to God, because I got a first class across the board for all of my January exams. Amazing, thank you Lord. And yeah, so all of that was going really well. But as you've noticed from my vlogs, if you've been watching them, it's always when it goes well that it starts to go downhill. So I actually remember it like it was yesterday. So this is January the 18th 2017. Yeah, I remember it exactly. But we were just having a lab session, so I think we had 3 labs a week, or 3 or 2 labs a week, and it was a lab session and I was with my friend, as I said. We were lab partners. And all of a sudden I started to feel this pain in my stomach. So it was around my right side here. I started to feel like really bad pain, but the thing that I was thinking first of all, oh, maybe it's just period pain. But this doesn't feel like period pain. I've had periods long enough to know that what my period pains feel like, because it's different for everyone. But yeah, so I was in the lab and I just started to cramp up in pain. I was like, oh my gosh, to my friend, I need to go to the toilet. So I came out of the lab and I went to the toilet, and then I realized when I went to the toilet, I'm just spreading it all out, guys. I might as well expose everything, expose my life. But I realized that I was bleeding. But then it didn't make sense, because I actually, I think it was from the age of 16 was prescribed the pill. I don't know if you guys know what that is, but usually people use it to stop getting pregnant. But it was, for me, it was because I was having really bad period pains and they were very heavy. So just to kind of lessen the flow. So I was taking that, and those of you that do know about it, when you're taking it, you can't have a period until you have a break, so until you stop taking the tablets. But I was still taking them, so I was like, why am I bleeding and I'm in a lot of pain? So me being me, I kind of tried to ignore it. And at this time, sorry, I forgot to mention that I was actually off crutches. So I came off crutches around November time, which was, thanks be to God. So going back, yeah, so I was in crippling pain and I was like, oh my gosh, like my stomach is really hurting. And I tried to keep going throughout the day. I was like, no, I can't let my lab partner down. I need to do this. I need to finish it. So I continued and I stayed in the lab. And then I think it was maybe an hour or so after that, I was like, no, I need to go home. And I was living with my granddad, as I said in my previous vlog, so I started living with him. So I went to my granddad and I said, Granddad, I'm not feeling well at all. So he's so sweet, because he was a lot older, but he would care for you. Like, he wouldn't think he was the age that he was. But he was like, okay, just go and lay down. And I was like, okay, maybe this is just a one-day thing. Oh my gosh, guys, it was not a one-day thing. The pain just started to get worse, to the point that I actually ended up in hospital. And the first thing that they thought was appendicitis, because, as I said, it was on the right side of my stomach. So I went into hospital, and you know how waiting times are and stuff. So I was there in pain and I was crying in pain. I was in so much agony, and I was like, oh my gosh, if it is appendicitis, are they gonna have to operate? What's gonna happen? And I kind of wasn't getting any answers. And then the next minute, like, they were like, okay, we don't think it's appendicitis. We've taken blood. we can't see anything with no signs of inflammation, so it's probably not appendicitis, but you probably have a bowel condition. And I was like, okay, okay, that's fine. So I described obviously that I was bleeding and everything, and then they were like, okay, so you probably have a bowel condition. So I said, okay. So just keep going with me, guys. I actually ended up staying in hospital, and I was under the gastroenterology department, so they work with all the gut and all of that stuff, all the fun stuff, guys. So I was in there for, I think it was about a week, and the sad thing about it is that I didn't actually have many visitors, I would say, because my auntie, who's usually very busy, she did keep coming, but I don't know, it just didn't feel the same. As I said, I wasn't with my immediate family, so my mum, dad and sisters, so I didn't get to see them as much. And my granddad being old, I didn't actually want him to come into hospital because there's so many things you can pick up. So a lot of the time I was very lonely, and I know because of the current situation we're in with COVID, I know that maybe you guys have experienced this. Unfortunately, if you were someone that contracted the virus, or if you knew your family members that contracted it and you can't visit them, it is a very lonely situation. And I think on top of the pain, that was making it worse, the fact that I was by myself. So that was very hard for me. And it kind of got to the point that because they couldn't find anything in my blood work or anything, they kind of just dismissed me, and I was like, yeah, well, it's probably nothing. And I don't know if you've ever experienced it, but when you feel like you're not being believed, like I was in agony, and you're not being believed, and then they're just saying to you, oh, well, we don't know what it is, we can't find out what it is, so you'll probably find it's probably, I remember once, I can't remember exactly what period, if this was that time when I went into hospital, but it was kind of like, oh, maybe it's just those kind of pains, or female pains, or one doctor even said to me. And I was like, wow, like I can't believe this. And to the point that I was actually in the hospital bed and I was crying. Sorry guys, I'm just getting a bit emotional, because if you know me personally, this is a problem that I'm still currently having. So I still have stomach pains. Sorry, give me a moment, guys. But yeah, it just really hurt, because I was in a lot of pain and I wasn't being believed. So eventually I got discharged from hospital, but I was still in a lot of pain. At this point they were giving me antibiotics because of obviously I said the bleeding. So they thought, oh, maybe you just have an infection or something. So I was on antibiotics, but that was just making me feel worse. And then you think, okay, so you already don't have that kind of support from doctors. They already think that you're making stuff up. So I still had follow-ups and stuff with the gastro doctor, but from the experience I had in hospital, I was like, I don't think they believe me anyway. I couldn't even get out of bed, and I still have days like this where I can't even get out of bed. So I thank God every day that I can actually get up and even record vlogs like this. And I went back to university a few days, and then some days I wasn't in. My May exams were coming up. I couldn't revise because I was in that much pain. I couldn't do it. And then it was just like, oh, maybe you should just drop out of university. I don't think you're going to do that well this year. And this was from people at university. And it just got to the point I was like, God, I want to give up. Like, I've had enough of this. I'm already in pain, and what's making it worse is that no one's actually believing me. Like, my family obviously did. They know me. They know I'm not going to just be like, oh yeah, because I don't want to do university, I just make up an illness. And I would tell you this, I'm not lying, most nights I was crying, and it wasn't even so much for the pain, even though it was really bad. It was for the fact that it felt like everyone was against me. I remember going to even one of my lecturers, and then them saying, why don't you just drop out if you can't handle the work? And I'm like, that's the time when I feel like I needed support the most. And I was just crying. I was like, God, I want to drop out. I just want to drop out. I've had enough now. And it felt like God just kept pushing on me and just like, keep going. And I was like, God, I really can't do this. I really just want to give up. And I just, sorry guys, I want to give up. But he kept pushing on me, and it came to the part where I was just like, you know what, God, I'm giving everything to you. I can't do this by myself. I can't revise. I'm in so much pain. I'm not getting the support that I thought I would get. Obviously I'd missed a lot of content because I think at this time I missed about 3 or 4 months of university. And those of you that are watching that know about when it comes to May exams, like those ones are even harder than the January exams. So I was like, God, I literally can't do this by myself. I need you. And I remember I just prayed and I cried, and God just I just felt so relieved by being able to say it to God and give it all to God. When I wasn't in so much pain, he helped me to do the work. And I am just so thankful to God, because I remember sitting in my granddad's garden. I was in pain, and it was hot at the time. I was in pain, and I was like, okay, God, I'm praying and I'm praying, I'm praying, I'm praying. Please just at least give me an hour of easing of the pain so that I can just focus to do this work. And the way God works is so amazing. As soon as I asked for that, like the pain was, I'm not going to say it disappeared, that would be a lie, but I sat there and I just did my work. And I even will tell you, even before all of this, there were times when I was like to God, I don't know why you would allow this to happen, because I obviously had come to the understanding now that it wasn't God that causes this bad stuff to happen. It's the enemy, but God is all powerful and he has power over the enemy. So I was like, well, God, you've allowed him to do this. Why am I sick? Like, why does it have to happen in second year? And that was kind of going on in my head, but reversing forward to when I said I was revising. So I started revising for my exams. But praise be to God, because I got a first class overall for my second year. So I did really well in my May exams. I think I got a first class in most of the exams, or just below, so 2-1, and I was so thankful to God for that. Amazing. But this time I knew 110% it was nothing to do with what I had done, because as I told you, there were times where I was not revising for a whole week, and God just brought me through it. And I am so thankful to God for everything, because I don't know how I could have done it without him. Because when I felt so alone and I felt like no one understood what I was going through, God was the one that was helping me through it all. And oh my God, I just feel so overwhelmed, because I'm just thinking about how good God has been to me. And it kind of encourages me, and I have to keep, even doing this vlog, reminding myself that even when I have times now when my stomach is really bad, that if God could do that when I was in the worst kind of position, I know that he can get me through anything. And it kind of made me think of this verse from Jeremiah 29:11. Sorry guys, I'm just... Oh. And it says, "For I know the thoughts that I think toward you, says the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you a future and a hope." And guys, even though you may hear this verse a lot and it might seem like it's very cliche, I actually love this verse, because God knew the plans that he had, and all it took was for me to trust him. And sometimes, I know I'm a very stubborn person. Maybe some of you that are watching can relate. I'm very stubborn. So if God hadn't allowed me to get ill, I would have thought that I was doing it all by myself. When I started doing my January exams, I actually believed that when I got those first class, that it was all down to me. But in May, I knew that this was 110% all God's working, because I couldn't have done it. And when I think about the plans that he has for me, but also for you guys, you may be experiencing something that is very difficult. You're like, God, I don't understand why you would allow this to happen. If you have that relationship with God, or even those that know of God, and like, God, it's your fault, this is happening. Even Olivia at times could have been like, oh, I've got this brain tumor, God, why would you allow this to happen? As she said, she didn't know God like that. But even that, people going through this and you're like, why? But this verse is just so beautiful, because it magnifies that God has a plan. He's going to do more than you could ever expect. And you're going to think, why am I in this situation? And God is just going to reveal it in the most amazing ways. And I just want you guys to be encouraged in whatever you're facing. As I said, this is a continuous thing for me. I still don't have answers for why I'm having stomach pains. And sometimes I'm still not even believed. But that's okay, because I know God knows. And the things that he has allowed me to do, even including this vlog series, this channel, my Instagram page, even through all of the pain, he's allowed me to do this, and I'm just so thankful. And he will do the same for you. All you have to do is give it up to him, and trust me, I know that it is not easy, because as I said in previous vlogs, like, education was it for me, like it was everything. And to say to God, okay, I'm giving this completely to you, was one of the hardest things, but in the same breath, it was the easiest thing, because I literally couldn't do anything. I told you, there were times when I could not get out of bed, and God doing that for me was absolutely amazing. And I know he will do the same for you guys. I pray that you guys were encouraged by this. I'm sorry that I was my voice was breaking up a bit, because it is a very tough one for me to talk about, because it is something I'm still going through, and it's still a daily struggle for me. But yes, I just keep praying and asking God to take it away, but he's doing amazing things even with all the pains that I have. So I hope you guys were encouraged, as I said, and I hope you guys will be able to join me for my next testimony vlog. Also, as I always like to say, please, if you feel free to share testimonies with me. It could be something to do with health, like my one, or it could be anything else. I really just want to hear, and just to encourage other people too. And I even posted, if you haven't been following my Instagram, I will link it below in the description box. And that is on my Instagram page. I actually sent out a video asking for testimonies. So please feel encouraged to send me testimonies. Get in touch with me in any way that you can, and then we can discuss how you can do it, so that I can hear your testimonies and others can. And as I always say at the end, please feel free to like, comment, share and subscribe if you haven't already. And please remember to hit the bell, so that you can be updated on videos to come. And if you're going through something, believe me, God is in control of it at all times. And even if you want me to pray for you, please comment below with any prayer request or anything like that, because I know for myself personally that prayer is so important, but also so powerful. So I hope to see you guys next time. Bye guys.